Chieftain Ralph here with Chieftain Ralph Lubbock.
That's me.
Been a while since we've done a cooking video, and last time we cooked, we were outside. It was nice. Right now it's 12 degrees Fahrenheit, which I think is 20 below Celsius.
I don't know. You do the math.
So last time we cooked outside, we cooked a porridge with barley and oats.
It was a nice fall day.
It was, and it was very creamy and delicious. And we don't get a lot of comments, and the nice thing about being a tiny channel is when we get them, we can respond to them. Of course, that one we got a comment. Someone asked, why did you use barley and oats? And our response was, because that's what the recipe said, stupid. That's why.
I don't know.
We just did.
It's what the Viking Center did, so it's what I did.
Well, exactly. So the recipe came from the Vibe Viking Center. I almost said the Vibe Viking Center.
Vibe Viking Center?
It's a vibe. Viking's a vibe.
It really is.
As the kids say.
Let's be real. It's a vibe.
I think I'm using that right. I don't know. I don't get that one. But yes,
got it.
Vibing at the Ribin. The Vibe Viking Center had the recipe, which we referenced. And so we said, yeah, that's what the recipe said. But the question kept bouncing around my head. Why oats and barley? Why oats and barley? And I don't know. I don't know if it's a texture thing, if it's a flavor thing, if it's a profile. I don't even know if there's really a reason. I don't know. I'm curious where their recipe came from, based on a find. No?
They make them up. So they make these recipes up in their experimental kitchen. I'm guessing it's just what they had. You know, so, I mean, we know that barley was way more prevalent than oats, which would be my guess as to why they use more barley, less oats. But it gives it a little different
oats
flavor.
rare, so they added it to make it rich people food.
No.
I found it more creamy than just barley as we've done, but I mean the other side of the coin, and this is what I find interesting. Here in the United States of America, we don't have a lot of oats or barley. We have them. We sell them to everyone else. We don't eat them. Oatmeal here, we have instant oatmeal, which I think a lot of people eat as a kid. I don't think a lot of adults, and oatmeal's still sort of marketed to kids, right? We, in our house, actually have oatmeal that, instant oatmeal, individual packets with a bunch of sugar in it, and there's little dinosaur eggs in it. When you add the hot water, the dinosaur eggs become real dinosaurs. That's not marketed to us, that's for children. Something about oatmeal here is for children.
Kinda, yeah. I mean, it didn't used to be, but it sure seems like it's a lot of sweet flavors.
I'm talking since I'm not that old.
No.
Since I've been alive, it seems like more of a kid's thing. And yeah, sugar, sweet. Barley, like, everyone's heard of beef and barley soup. I think some authentic Irish pubs might serve beef and barley soup.
Oh, sure.
I think outside of the Irish American community, I'm not Irish American. I've never had barley until I married this woman. I don't, so I don't think barley and oats are that prevalent in our culture. So it could be like overseas, yeah, oats and barley, it's great.
Maybe. I mean, I know my mom cooked with barley fairly frequently as a side because she's vegetarian, so it's high in protein. It's a good add to something to add protein into it. Like she would make stuffed peppers and put some barley in it. So, I mean, but it's not, you're right, it's not something that everybody uses in their house really, other than soup.
Yeah, I mean, our go-to side was a side of macaroni, meatballs, braciole, and sausage.
Right.
With everything. Easter ham, gotta make the ravioli, braciole, sausage, and meatballs, Christmas turkey, gotta make the macaroni, braciole, sausage, and meatballs.
Maybe some ravioli if it's extra special.
No, ravioli's Easter.
Oh, see, my grandma made ravioli as an extra special side for pretty much everything.
I didn't ask for your life story.
Shh.
So, what are we gonna do? I want to know what the difference is. The difference, oats versus just barley versus oats and barley. And the interesting thing with this recipe to begin with was we toasted the oats in the bacon fat with the bacon in there. The meat, the pork, the good fat back, salt back, fat tack, salt tack, back fat stuff we had. Bacon. So we're going to try all three methods and see what I don't even know what I'm really expecting with this. Like, we know there's going to be a difference. It's kind of, is it going to taste better? Are they fine separate, I guess?
I mean, so we know what they taste like separate, really, because we've had them both separately before.
But that's the interesting thing. We haven't had them separately done up in the bacon.
No.
We've had oatmeal, where you just pour boiling water over quick oats and eat it, and it tastes like nothing. We've had barley and soup, which it's tasty, but it just tastes like the soup. And then we had the oat and barley porridge we made, which was delicious and tasted like porridge and had a creamy texture. And I don't know if that creamy texture and the flavors and everything is from the oats and barley together, or if you can just do it with barley and get the exact same result, or if all you have is oats, if you just use oats. Availability. Not everyone can get barley. So we're going to try and cook some things and see what we come up with.
Sounds good.
Let's give it a shot.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So what are we cooking today? We talked about oats. We talked about barley. So we're going to do... We have a 1/3 cup in each. We factored that from... Last time we did it, we had 3/4 cup of one, a quarter cup of the other for a whole... So we just kind of averaged it out about a 1/3 cup. We have pearl barley, which I believe is the more closer accurate.
I think so. I think it's the more, because it's, I mean, cracked would be fine too. I don't know the difference in barley types.
I don't either.
I'll be
I think
honest.
whole barley. I don't know what they call pearl barley. It just, the less processed, the better, right? If we're talking Viking age, anything. The less you have to do something, the more closely it's going to be to what any older culture would have. And that's not to say that they didn't cook food and they ate raw meat and everyone was a barbarian, right? What we mean by that is, if you can cook it whole and it's easier, they would have, because it's easier. It just makes sense. And again, they're not going to a grocery store, reading the different types of barley. Well, that one's cracked, and that one's pearl, and that one's whole, and that one's this, that. Same thing with oats.
I want to
So we
say
have the pearl barley. We also have whole oats. There's also steel cut, quick oats. I don't know what the difference between them are. I know these are whole oats, which again sounded more Viking age, right? They're whole.
steel cut's chopped.
Steel cut is chopped with steel. I mean, that sounds pretty metal. Maybe that was
It's
more
ground
Viking.
a little bit, basically.
We know they weren't grinding too much. They could grind flour. Coarse ground is always, if you're going for flours, coarse ground is your best bet.
But grinding flour is hard.
It is. It's a pain in the ass. So we have whole oats, we have pearl barley, and then we have a mixture of the two, because we were going to once again make both, because I remember what it was, but we want to do it again so we have an even comparison. The hard part's going to be, I don't want to dirty a million pans. I don't know, maybe... So we're going to do it. It's going to take a little longer. We're going to do a batch, clean the pan, do a batch, clean the pan. Because I want to dirty a bunch of pans.
We'll see. We might get tired of that and dirty more pans.
Well, it's pretty quick. So.
It is.
So we have that. We also want to recreate a recipe. We have our home cured bacon. And this, usually I just do a salt cure, so it's more like salt back or salt belly, fat back, whatever you want to call it. This one I actually did do some sugar in it, so it's more like American bacon, or I don't know. Bacon worldwide is big, except Canada. They have ham.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
I don't
It's
know.
really good.
It's good.
I like it.
It's good.
It's just a little bit sweet. It's not super sweet, but it adds a lot of flavor.
it's America. We
That's
put
nice.
salt in everything. So I'm gonna cut these up and separate them into a couple different bowls, and because I want to make them similar, right? A little scientific. We're gonna use the same number of strips of bacon and whatnot. We also have shallots.
Trim
What?
wants bacon too.
No bacon for you. No bacon for you. I hear you sneaking up. No bacon for you. We also have shallots, which I'm told in flavor, you don't want a shallot either, buddy. I'm told in flavor is more similar to what they would have had, but I think spring onion, field onion, onion grass.
Shallots have a more
Okay.
mellow flavor than our standard modern
yeah.
onion. So we don't have any green onions here because ours that we kept on the counter finally went, and we don't have onion
Well,
grass
yeah,
here.
again, it's 12 degrees Fahrenheit. It's very much not spring, so we have no spring onion.
Yeah.
We didn't dry anything either. I guess you could use a granulated onion or something if you just want to make it, if you're not going
Yeah,
for
that's
a
true.
reenactment meal. But we want to try a little experimental and see what we get. So, okay. So, we're going to start cooking. We're going to do our oats first. Partially because I want my dessert first. I'm cutting to the good part. This is the one I'm expecting the most different result from. Again, we've only ever, in the United States of America, Oatmeal is just quick oats that you boil some water, you throw it in there, and you eat it with a bunch of sugar or honey or pancake syrup, not even maple syrup. Pancake syrup, which is just corn syrup.
Sugar with caramel coloring.
Sugar, dinosaur eggs, those types of things. I'm curious how this is going to come out. I'm pretty sure the barley is just going to taste good. I want to see what's going to happen with the oats. So we'll start our fire.
Whew, that was tiring.
Easiest time ever. Again, we're doing some indoor cooking on a medium heat in our seasoned cast iron. Without having to put a grate over a fire or hang something, no tripod, no spit. This is very, I don't know how this works. This is strange. So we got our medium heat. Again, if this was a fire, we'd have a good bed of coals going with maybe a bit of flame. We're doing our bacon and shallots at the same time. Let's throw them in. Again, once this goes, I'm going to try to talk and it's going to be noisy, but here we go. Get out of there, you bastard. Okay. Ooh, that was much of a sizzle.
Yeah, I'll take the empty dish.
There you go. Which is good. I didn't want to whoosh,
You don't
sizzle.
want it too high, you'll just burn.
Yeah, they'll just burn. But we're going to get them good and golden. A lot of recipes say to brown off your meat and get a good color, and at-home recipes, you'll pull it out and then do something else and then add it later. We're not going to do that because we're going to be adding water, and the water is going to stop the cooking for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So we want these to be nice and golden, and then we'll add our water and our oats.
We want to keep all those flavors in the pan. We don't want to lose any of them. So
all our flavors in there. There we go. It was probably hard to see, but our fat's starting to grease everything. And you know it's rendering out when the pan looks greasy. And everything's going to cook nice. It's a little darker than I expected. But hey,
it's the sugar.
I'm going to be doing this 3 times. So, oh, the sugars. So we've added our oats. We thought we did it on camera, but we forgot to hit record. So the fun of recording. It's been a couple weeks. We're out of practice. Of course, that's the fun about having a minuscule channel that we do for fun. We get to post whenever we feel like.
At least we didn't get too far.
So
No.
So you added the oats, and now you're toasting them a little bit.
Well, yeah, we're toasting the oats, and we had a fun, jaunty exchange about things that no one will ever know about.
I'm sorry.
No.
He asked me if the toasting the oats was in the recipe, and I said no. They just have a nice flavor when they're toasted, so that's what I did.
Yeah, you said you came up with it.
I did.
So we're doing it like we did the first time, and that's neat and interesting.
Really just cooking experience. You know, you do stuff enough, you kind of go, I know that has. Well, and as someone else pointed out in one of the other videos, I ended up doing it like you do risotto, where you toast the rice first for the same reason.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about it, but yeah, that's probably where it came from.
Well, that's what makes me think about this recipe as a whole. Like, is there a reason why they did oats and barley? Is it just, even at the Ribe Center, they had some oats and they had some barley, but not enough of independently to make something, so they combined them together?
Possible.
Is it just something someone's always done? Like, why do you put oil in your macaroni water? Because that's the way Mama did it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way Grandma did it, and that's the way Great-Grandma did it, but what's it do? Who cares? It's just what you do.
Right.
You put oil in your macaroni water. For those of you who thinks it keeps it from sticking together, you're wrong, and you should feel bad. You just do it because that's the way you do it.
Right.
So these are pretty well toasted. I'm going to start adding the water. We're getting some good color. I'm going to try to zoom in on that to show what it's supposed to look like. I ordered a small beer. No, it's the water. I'm kidding.
Nice toasty
See,
color.
yeah, we got a good color on
Much
there.
easier to get video of the color when we're not over the fire.
And add some water. Oh, yeah. Just enough water to color to start.
Deglaze your pan.
Deglaze the pan. It wasn't glazed at all. It's kind of amazing. Toasting oats made the pan look brand new. I wonder if that's a... We'll explore with that. How to clean a cast iron with oats, maybe. So I just coated them with... Yeah, and the original one we had a concave pan, essentially, a paella pan. When the Vikings traveled all over the world, they taught everyone about a paella pan. No, it was a neat kind of concave pan. Here we're using a flat bottom pan for it. And yeah, essentially making Viking risotto. So we just want to cover just the to the top with water, and the oats will start to absorb and cook. And
you're gonna have to add more and more than likely.
Well, and that's I'm curious about that because I know the barley will soak it up. I don't think the oats are going to soak it up as much.
Maybe not. No, they probably don't take as much water.
They might.
To
I could
cook.
be talking out of my bumhole. I don't know. As I say that, they are absorbing all the water. So far this is not very porridge-like. I guess I'll add some more water. I'd say we're going to need a little more water.
I would think so.
I don't want to go too much. Yeah, see, we didn't get the good sizzle that time. But we still want to try to make it kind of porridge and or creamy-like.
Yeah, I would say the oats are probably going to need a fair amount of water to absorb.
Well, in that too, with a flat bottom pan, that's probably evaporating also. Mm-hmm. Not just going into the oats, but that might have been a bit too much, but it looked so dry.
It smells nice. Well, it'll absorb or boil off, one of the two.
Yeah, that's the fun of the experiment, right? Experimental cooking.
We didn't read the directions on how to make the oats ahead of time.
Oh, right, I forgot to do that. I said I was going to. And that I didn't.
Which I didn't before we did the barley either. And then I was like, oh yeah, like they do soak up a lot of liquid, or usually you boil them and then drain them like a macaroni.
Honestly, it smells a little like burnt popcorn.
It does. I bet that's the toasty oats.
Mm-hmm. I want to oversalt, but I want a little of the smoke salt. Nice.
Smoke salt brought to you by
Auntie Arwen's Applewood Smoked Salt. Auntie Arwen's for all your spice needs.
We haven't repped the Arwens a lot lately because we've been cooking different things.
Auntie Arwen's rocks. Go to Auntie Arwen's, buy all their stuff. They're amazing.
Love them. Excellent quality.
Yes, quality,
Amazing
sustainability.
people, amazing quality.
Yes.
They're more expensive for a reason.
Yeah, they're not. I'm not going to say they're not cheap because they're reasonable. I think
so. You get a lot for the price.
And a little bit goes a long way with a lot of their stuff.
More expensive than your grocery store spices.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say anything bad about McCormick because we do have some McCormick stuff, but it's not the same. It's very hot. Maybe that is a little undercooked.
Say, I was kind of thinking I might need more water. You might want to turn it down a little more.
Turn it from low to lower.
Low to lower, yeah.
Yeah.
So they absorb a little more.
Yeah.
You can always kick it back up, but you don't want it to burn either. Just because we're working with a small quantity.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We're not making a big batch in a big pot to be able to stir the pot and let them soak it in and cook. We'll see what happens. So, we're just about done. It's taken up most of the water. Our heat's on low. We're going to go ahead and plate this. Because it's just about there.
It started to get really toasted, so we were worried it was burning. I think we should have cut it the heat a little lower sooner, but
possibly.
But it doesn't taste burnt, so.
No, it doesn't taste burnt. We've tasted the oats as we've gone because that's our big concern, and they seem pretty good. So we're gonna kick off our heat and plate this, and we'll try it later.
We're gonna try them all together.
Yes, we'll do a full taste test in a bit. So we're gonna set those aside. We're gonna give them everything a proper taste test in a minute. We're gonna wipe out our pan. Actually, I'm gonna do that on camera. I'm going to wipe out our pan and show you how easy it is to reset a cast iron. Perfect. Clean the lid. And we're good. That's it.
You could always rinse it out with water.
I was getting there.
Sorry.
So, no. You're fine. You're absolutely right. You can clean cast iron. Everyone says, no clean mama's cast iron. Don't clean great grandma's. This cast iron been in the family 100 years. Yeah, and 80 years ago, your great-grandfather cleaned out the cast iron in the wash, right? It's panned, it's dirty. Sometimes things stick to it, sometimes they're harder to clean. You can clean them with soap and water. If things burn to them, you have to clean them with soap and water. Also, these days we know germs exist, so sometimes you have to clean them.
Or you just clean them with hot water and a sponge.
Or hot water and a sponge. Either way, you have to clean them. Doing something like this with a particular amount of lipid, because we've cooked a lot of bacon in here, you can just wipe it out. It's good to go. Almost a little too dry. So if we weren't about to cook more bacon in here, I'd say I'd add a little oil, wipe it down, and let the heat kind of absorb that and make a new coating. So we're going to go on to our next batch and be throwing more bacon in there, so we don't have to re-season it.